welcome everybody to our an interview that I'm having here with Paul Jordan, who's the owner of LDM Expert. Welcome, Paul.
Hi, John. Thanks very much for having me here today. It's a real pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thanks for taking the time out to be here, Paul. It's great to see you.
You're welcome. You too.
So tell everybody, Paul, who you are and a little bit about your business as well.
Sure. Okay, thank you. Well, my name's Paul Jordan. I have a business called LDM Expert, and that stands for Learn Digital Marketing Expert. And basically, it's an online training course that teaches you everything you need to know about online marketing. So it's like website creation, hosting, videos, all that kind of thing. And as a digital coach myself, I also offer one-to-one mentoring as part of that course. I've got a sister business called Vivity Internet Marketing, which is an online marketing agency. So although we like to train people, for people that find they don't have time or they don't actually want to do their own online marketing, we have the agency business that takes care of that for people in such situations as well.
Wow, very interesting indeed. Is that something that you do purely through the internet, or do you do that one-on-one in person as well?
We can, yeah, we have done it in person a little bit. I suppose, like all of us, COVID kind of changed the whole playing field for a lot of things. So like on Zoom, a lot of people are quite happy to sort of have a conversation over Zoom now. And I think it's great, isn't it? Because people don't have to have the logistics of getting in their car and traveling somewhere, which takes a lot of wasted time. So just about all of this stuff can be done over Zoom. And obviously with the internet, we've got global reach for getting files transferred and that kind of thing. I still like the personal touch. Even though it's really great to be here on Zoom with you today, it's still never quite the same as being in the room with somebody and making them a cup of tea and taking it over. And that social contact is still good to have, but this still works really well.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's one of the things that I've missed from the pandemic. That's for sure. Is that personal, communication, as you said, being able to sit there and have a cup of tea and share a biscuit. It's very difficult over the internet, isn't it?
Yeah, they haven't mastered that yet, have they?
So tell me a little bit more about what you do on a day-to-day basis, then, Paul, with the company that you operate.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I suppose like all of us, every day is different. We try to have a certain routine. So we've got a couple of guys that work offshore, and we have a system that makes sure that some of the same tasks get done automatically not automatically, but the tasks are generated automatically, but they're conducted manually. So all our social media management, for example, posting on the various channels, we have a task that will pop up every day, and the guys in the Philippines will take care of doing some posts on Facebook and LinkedIn and so forth, creating videos, creating graphics. So for me, I kind of oversee the work and make sure they're always well fed with plenty of work to do. And I kind of take care more of the marketing side. So it's like outreach to find new clients. The training course that I mentioned earlier, that's a fairly new thing that we've recently finished building. I'm in the throes of launching that now and making some online sales. So on a daily basis, it's a kind of like a lot of self-employed people, it's not a 9-to-5 thing. It's kind of some of the work is proactive, like doing all the planned work, and some of it's reactive, responding to inquiries and attending to things when they don't always go as planned, like a website might stop working or whatever. But yeah, it's every day is different, and really trying to get some sales of the new training course. And I think the reason I went down that route is that the agency side is great, but I wanted to have my eggs in several baskets. And the great thing about when you have your own products or services, you're not kind of beholden to another outside influence. If you're selling somebody else's products and there's a problem with them, or you can't sell them anymore, that's a business that's taken away. But with a training course, we realized that it's something that we own the rights to, so that it doesn't stop another company from taking away that business from us, which is why we kind of decided to go down that route as a separate one from the agency as well. Yeah, that makes sense.
So with regards to your courses, do they go on different platforms? I mean, I'm not too well up on where you can get these courses available, but one of the platforms that jump out to me through personal experience was Udemy. Is it called Udemy?
Yes, I've come across that one. There are many different platforms for building a training course on, and in fact, before so the training course, the LDM Expert training course, is currently on a WordPress platform. I built it originally probably about 2 years ago now. I built it on a different platform, which turned out to be very, very problematic. The technical support was terrible, and it was a real painful lesson actually, and it kind of really nearly scuppered the business because it was causing so many problems. So I had to extract all the content and publish it on a WordPress platform. But we looked at Kajabi, Udemy. There's so many different platforms out there for building training courses. If you look at, I mean, my Kajabi is a very good one, but again, the challenge with Kajabi with that is that the content that you create, it's on their platform, so they kind of own it. So if Kajabi disappeared overnight, your content, your videos, it's all gone. Yeah. Whereas with a WordPress environment, you're the owner of it. You own the domain, you own the hosting, you own all the files, and you can back them up, and they're yours. So that if anything happens, you've still got all that content. And that was one of the main reasons for going down that route. And you have a lot more control, and there's a lot more bells and whistles you can put on there. And again, with Kajabi, it's very well supported. It's a very easy solution because they do all the hosting, but then you're paying a monthly fee for it. And you know, when you're starting out, that can be a bit restrictive. Whereas on a hosting platform, hosting doesn't cost a huge amount of money. Once you've got a domain name, it's we think it's the better way to go. If you're going to build a training course, is to build it on a WordPress environment. You're totally in control. You own everything, and you're not beholden to somebody else who suddenly hikes the price monthly or anything like that. So you've got more control. Understood.
Wonderful. So, Paul, whereabouts are you based? I sense a little bit of an accent there.
Well, as you may have gathered, I'm from London originally, but right now I'm talking to you from Plymouth in the UK, which is, for people that don't know, Plymouth, it's in the southwest of England in the UK, in a county called Devon. It's on the coast. And interesting enough, Plymouth is twinned with Massachusetts in the United States. And about 400 years ago, it's where the Pilgrim Fathers left Plymouth in the UK to discover America. So that gives it a bit more, puts it on the map a bit more. It's also a big Navy town as well.
It certainly is, yeah, where I done my initial training as a youngster.
Raleigh, just across the road, yeah.
That's it. Beautiful part of the world, Devon, as well. Very, very nice.
Very much so. It's lovely coast, lovely Dartmoor. I used to live in London, which is a wonderful place, but you know, the air quality is not so good. And when you bring up young children, which I was some years ago, it's such a nice environment for children to be in. You've got, you know, a lot more animals around. You've got the coast for swimming, got Dartmoor for walking. And those are all very accessible. Or if you're in the centre of London trying to get out to the coast, it's a hell of a long drive. You've got the traffic. It's a great place, London, but yeah, I love it down here. And of course, the cost of living is much more, your money goes a lot further down here for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. Wonderful. So, Paul, tell us something that many people wouldn't know about yourself, something, maybe a secret or something.
Yeah, okay. I suppose there's something that not many people know. About 10 or 11, no, it's probably about 12 years ago now, actually, probably about 12 years ago. I appeared in a TV show in the UK called Homes Under the Hammer, which is where people buy properties at auction and refurbish them. And I bought a property in, I think it was about 2010, and got approached after the auction by a TV company. He said, "Would you like to be in a program?" And of course, who can refuse a bit of fame on TV? So that's something that people don't know about. I was on TV about 12 years ago, and it's out there on YouTube still. But yeah, that's my claim to fame, and the little secret that nobody else knows probably, but they do now.
I think I've seen that before. That's a program where you buy it at one price, renovate it, sell it at another price. Is that right?
Yeah, that's certainly one approach. So you can that's what a lot of people do. They buy a property, renovate it, and then sell it on for profit. But the approach that I took was to buy a property, renovate it, and then keep it, and then rent it out to tenants. And that's what I'm still doing to this day with that one.
Oh, very nice
Here
indeed.
In Plymouth, yeah.
Okay. So obviously you're still very young anyway, Paul. Um,
Who are you talking to? You're my best friend.
So obviously you're still very young, Paul. Tell us about your younger years.
Oh, crikey.
University, college.
Younger years, yeah. Okay. So I went to a school called Witten School, and I did reasonably well. I remember buying this magazine when I was a young lad called All About Science. It was one of these, you buy this magazine weekly and it would build up into a book, and you buy the binder and you put it in there and it becomes like a set of encyclopedias. And I used to really love this magazine, and it went through science in alphabetical order, so from A to Z. And every time I'd get one from the shop, I'd always be really excited to read it. And it was written in a way that I found very engaging. So I learned a lot about science from this magazine, and I think it was written in quite an exciting way. And they used to have little things in there, that little giveaways, little experiments you could do, little scratch cards to give off a smell. So I found that this kind of helped me at school, because I did quite well at sort of all the sciences at school. And for some reason, I didn't go into science subsequently, but I think when I left school, I went to college, and I didn't really know what to do. So I went to college and studied engineering, and that was like mechanical engineering, a bit of electrical engineering. And so that was an ordinary national diploma level. And I really enjoyed that. It was really interesting. I had some good lecturers, made some really good friends, had a good time. And when I finished college, I just didn't know what to do with my life. I thought, well, what do I do now? Do I want to find a job? And I kind of got caught up in the tide to some extent, because a lot of the people in my course were all going to university. And I thought, oh, perhaps that's what I should do. So I got caught up with a few of my friends, and it was quite lucky, because here in Plymouth, where I live now, this is where I studied as a student a long time ago. Mm-hmm. And part of the reason for that is a couple of the guys that I did my college course with came to Plymouth. So when I came to Plymouth, I wasn't on my own. I came down with a few friends. And I think if it hadn't been for that, I probably wouldn't have done it, because, you know, I was mentioning conversation with you, going to the Navy when you're 16 and living away from home, that's a real big move. And even though I was 18, to live away from home, if I'd have been on my own, I think I would have really struggled. But because I had friends that we moved down together with, it made it a lot easier. And again, I studied electrical and electronic engineering, and found it really interesting, found it really hard because there's a lot of maths. But I suppose that's where I got my passion for technology, because as soon as we started doing like microprocessors and computers, you know, my kind of heart lit up. That was just so exciting. And this was back in the day when actually seeing a computer was quite a rare thing, because they weren't really widespread. We're going back to kind of 1982 now. And this is before the internet even. So yeah, so that got me into technology, that got me into computers, and it all started from there, and the rest is history, I suppose.
Wow, very interesting. So outside of your of your work, obviously there is no such thing as 9 to 5 anymore. Being self-employed, I'm sure.
Very true.
What other interests do you have?
Yeah, I like to. Well, I've got 3 twins who are both 20, and another daughter who's 22. So I don't get to see them because they've all got their own lives, but I really love spending time with them when the opportunity arises. I nearly said I'm a keen gym goer, but I'm not keen. I go to there's a chain of gyms called Pure Gym, and I go there. I do the fitness classes, so they're instructor led, and there's a group of people told what to do. I don't get pleasure out of going, but I go because I know that I need to sort of try and keep myself mobile, because like a lot of us, sit down all day at the desk. So I do that. I'm getting back into cycling. I used to do a lot of cycling when I was younger. So I've got my rusty old bike, which I've recently been getting out on quite a lot more. I really enjoy that, actually. I've forgotten the sense of freedom that it gives you, because I used to cycle to work when I worked in London a long time ago. And to get back into that, I'm probably having a bit of a midlife crisis, because I recently bought myself an electronic drum kit, because I used to play the drums when I was at college.
Okay. Yeah.
So I've been thinking about it for a long time. So I finally got an electronic drum kit, which means that I don't drive the neighbours completely bonkers when I play. because I really is, I used to be really passionate about that when I was in the band in my youth. And I'd love to get back into like a pub band or something like that, but that's something I really like. I love cooking. I like to eat healthy food. I think cooking is one of the few things that I can do when I've got a busy mind and I'm stressed. I find when I'm cooking and I'm cutting up vegetables and I'm peeling vegetables and thinking about what I'm cooking, it's one of the few things that really takes my mind off other stuff. I have to really focus on it, so I find it very therapeutic, and it's so satisfying when you have friends and family around for dinner and you put nice food on the table and everyone's really enjoying it. It's a very nice, it's a real good feeling, isn't it? And you put healthy things on the table that everyone's finding very tasty. So I get a lot of satisfaction from that, and that's about it. That's probably. And sleep. I like to sleep. But yeah, so that's it really. That's all my time spoken for.
I think you're right. When you're cooking something for a group of people, your friends or whatever, and you've made something good, and you can see their reaction is good. I think that's almost better than tasting the food yourself, isn't it?
It really is. It's it's a real sense of satisfaction, a sense of pride, and it just gives you a nice buzz, doesn't it, that all your hard work has been rewarded when you see people enjoying the food. Because it's like a lot of food, you spend hours cooking it, and when it's good, it's demolished in like minutes because everyone just empties their plate, and you think, well, all those hours of preparation gone. But it's a good sign.
Yeah, marvelous. So in the world of marketing, there's obviously plenty of people out there that are advertising and telling everybody how they should market their business. How do you market your business?
Yeah, it's a very good question. So we're just launching the course, so it's in the early stages. At the moment, we're running a series of webinars. So the webinars form part of our sales funnel. And we advertise the webinars on a platform called Eventbrite. And that's certainly a platform I'd recommend to a lot of people because there's a lot of stuff on there, and it's surprising how many people go to Eventbrite to find out about webinars. So that's a good place to advertise, and you can do it for free as well, so you can get a bit of traffic from there. We're also planning a Facebook ads campaign, but the thing that we're focusing on right now is doing some organic outreach, and that's so organic outreach is a case of finding relevant Facebook groups where we would expect to find our target audience. And then engaging in conversations on the group. And then the good thing about that is you can look at people's profile on Facebook and on LinkedIn. And from that, you can make a judgment as to whether you think they'd be a good fit for what we're selling. So obviously, that's what we're starting to do to find out if we think people are a good fit for our training course. So then we would start a conversation with them through messaging on Facebook and on LinkedIn, and try and get them onto either a Zoom call similar to what we're having now, or a phone call, and assess their needs and possibly close a sale. And we've just literally started getting into that last week. So that's a new area for us to get into, is like social outreach or organic outreach, or call it what you wish. Facebook ads have been very problematic for many people. We've all had the Facebook ads shut down, ad accounts shut down for no reason. The algorithms are very draconian. You never find out exactly what's wrong. Very often there's nothing wrong, but the algorithm has had a false trigger, and that can waste a lot of time while you're waiting to get accounts reinstated. So this new organic outreach technique, I think is going to work well, because although you're not reaching such a big audience, you can gauge the quality of the audience much better, because you can vet people through the profile and through a chat. So you may only reach, 1,000 people in a week, but it's going to be a much higher quality than putting an advert on Facebook. And even with your targeting options, you're still not going to have such a good quality audience. So that's where we're at the moment. It's kind of early days.
Oh, very interesting. So who would your ideal customer be? Are you talking about someone that has just taken a recent interest in marketing, or are you looking for the person that maybe had done a bachelor's degree 20 years ago in marketing?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think it's certainly aimed at someone who has no marketing background whatsoever. It's aimed at people that either want to start their own business from scratch and have an idea about they may already have their own products or services that they want to take online. There may be people that don't have a product or service, but they still want to start an online business. So we can teach people how to do that through the likes of affiliate marketing. There may be small business startups that choose to do their online marketing in-house. So it's a course that's very much going to be geared up for those kinds of people. But like a lot of people, with things in life, we quite often learn about how to do something for ourselves from a training course. But then when we've done the course, we realize, oh, actually, that's a lot of time and a lot of effort. And then we actually end up outsourcing the work. Maybe not all of it, but we might choose to then outsource the work as a result of doing the training ourselves, because we realize actually that we've got to email marketing, website creation, video creation, graphic design, et cetera, et cetera. And some people think, wow, it's a bit overwhelming. So yeah, so it's for kind of business startups, existing business that want to really sort of get serious about marketing online, and people that just want to start an online business and don't have any ideas about how to make money. So it's all of those people really, but it's not for big corporates because they've probably already got an internet marketing department in place already.
Right. Fantastic. That's wonderful. Yeah, last question for you. Somebody that's about to start their own business or thinking about going in to start their own business, what words of wisdom could you give to them?
Yeah, I think get your expectations set correctly, I think, is a key thing. And this is based on my own personal experience. I think a lot of people go into business with a huge amount of enthusiasm and passion, which is essential, but expecting to generate an income too soon. And I've certainly been guilty of that in my earlier days. And if you already have a full-time job and you're generating, you're getting a salary, either you've got a good set of savings to rely on, or you try and ramp up your own business in parallel, which means working a lot of extra hours outside of your day job and working weekends, and doing that until such a stage whereby you can then afford to quit your day job and focus your efforts. But I've heard, I've seen people, myself included, who have a very well-paid daytime job, jump ship to start their own business and expect their income to be replaced in a very short space of time, and it doesn't. And then the stress sets in, and you end up going back to a day job because you couldn't get the business working quick enough. So I think doing some good planning and having realistic expectations of not much income for quite a while, I think that's key advice if you want to stay in it for the long term. Because so many people, you think, oh yeah, I'm going to make a load of money, and I jump in, and loads of enthusiasm, loads of energy, loads of passion. And 3 months down the line, they're still struggling. And struggling is part of entrepreneurship. That's what it's all about. But if you can replace your income in 3 months, then wow, that's pretty miraculous if you're starting from zero. So you've got to set yourself a realistic timescale and do your budgeting. So if you've got a pile of savings, you know that savings is going to last you the course until you can realistically have an income. And I think it's a case of like living a frugal lifestyle if you want to make it work, so that you cut out all the things you don't need to spend money on. So you've got enough money to eat, enough money to live, and then all you need is all that time to throw into your business. So that's the advice I would give someone: is keep your expectations realistic, set your horizon for break even well into the future, and I think you should do okay.
Yeah, very wise words indeed. Very. So how can people get in contact with you, Paul?
Probably the best way is my email address, which is, hopefully we'll see some details later, but my email address is paul@ldm.expert. I'm also on social media. We have a Facebook page. We're on LinkedIn. We're on all the social channels, Instagram. So you can message us through any of those channels. I think my phone number will probably appear at the end as well. So people are very welcome to give me a call. But these days, it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? We have so many ways for people to contact us. I find that sometimes people can contact us in one particular way, and it can be a struggle to think, now, I know they sent me a text message. Was it WhatsApp? Was it a Facebook Messenger? Or, oh no, it was Instagram Messenger. Oh no, it was on. And then you end up having this array of platforms where people have tried to contact you, and it can get confusing to manage all that. But
everybody seems to have forgotten how to pick up the telephone and make a call nowadays. Yeah,
that is so true, John. That is so true. I you know, all this messaging platform is fantastic. We can talk asynchronously, which is great, but sometimes you want to have a conversation and bottom it out there and then. And of course, every time you come back to a conversation on Messenger, your brain is having to do that contact switch, because if you're there waiting for an answer, you're thinking about what you're talking about. But if you then don't get an answer and you move on to something else, and then they reply 10 minutes later, you come back, your brain is constantly switching tasks. And on a phone call, hi, what time do you want to? Yeah, 3 o'clock tomorrow, 5 o'clock Friday. Yeah, Friday. Okay, fine, that's good. See you then. And the whole negotiation is done rather than, do you want to come Friday? 5 minutes later. No, I can't do Friday. What about Thursday?
Definitely, Paul. Definitely.
Yeah, I can't do Thursday. And that drives me nuts. And it's so inefficient. As you say, why don't people want to speak anymore? A phone call, job done.
I agree. Yeah, no, definitely. Well, Paul, thank you very much for your time. It's been great having a chat with you.
Thank you, John, for inviting me here.
And I hope you get everything that you wish for in your business, and things go according to plan. And I wish you all the success in the world.
Thank you very much, John. It's been really good to be here. I've had a lot of fun. So thanks for your time as well.
Take care, Paul. All the best, yeah? Bye-bye.
Bye.